Hi, good morning and good evening, sir. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our team first. Start from me. My name is Muhammad Dewan Naufal. My student ID is 120 120 1537. I am as a cybersecurity analyst. Member, introduce yourself.
Uh, Good evening, sir. My name is Danny Imtiaz Faisal. My student ID is 120 120 1743. I am a network security analyst.
Good evening, Dr. Timothy. My name is Nur Ayu Amira binti Idris. My student ID is 120 120 072. So I am a penetration tester from my team. Now I will pass to Daniel for the purpose of the meeting.
The purpose of the countermeasure is to identify the policies and procedures related to the MMU Semiconductor Limited Company, which is a local operation for a large global mining company. The countermeasure process is aimed at finding the policies, procedures, control, and people. Next.
Okay. So, we would like to begin with the policies. So, the first one is SCADA security policy. SCADA systems are protected by a SCADA security policy. SCADA systems control electricity grids, water treatment plants, and manufacturing plants. So this policy usually covers SCADA network infrastructure security, system access control, authentication and authorization, security incident detection and response, and data integrity and confidentiality. So this vital system must be protected against unauthorized access, manipulation, and disturbance. Next, I will pass to Ayu.
So next is a data classification policies. It defines a framework for categorizing SCADA system data based on its sensitivity and also criticality. So this policy typically establish different levels of tiers of data classification such as confidential, sensitive, and also public, each with corresponding security controls and also access restriction. So the classification may take into account factors like the impact of unauthorized disclosure or modification and business consideration maybe. So the policy also outlines procedures for labeling, handling, transmitting, storing, and disposing of data based on its classification level. So by classifying data and applying appropriate controls, organization can ensure that sensitive SCADA information is adequately protected and also accessed only by authorized person. So next, I will pass to Daniel.
Okay. For acceptable use policy (AUP), it sets forth the guidelines and rules for the appropriate and responsible use of SCADA system. It defines what action and behaviors are considered acceptable and unacceptable when assessing and interacting with the SCADA infrastructure. The AUP may include guidelines on user responsibilities, proper system usage, restriction on unauthorized access, guidelines for handling sensitive information, prohibition on engaging in malicious activity or unauthorized modifications, and consequence for policy violation. The AUP helps ensure that users understand their responsibilities and use the SCADA system in a manner that aligns with organizational goals and security requirements. Next, I will pass to Naufal.
So next, procedures. First one is vulnerability management procedure. So implement a procedure for identifying, assessing, and remediating vulnerabilities in the SCADA system. The SCADA vulnerability management procedure identifies, assesses, and fixes vulnerabilities. It requires utilizing specific tools to scan for system vulnerabilities. Based on severity, impact, and exploitability, vulnerabilities are prioritized. So to reduce security risk, high-risk vulnerabilities are addressed first. So tracking vulnerability, repair progress, and applying patches or updates is also part of the process. So organized vulnerability management approach can reduce exploitation risk and improve SCADA system security. Next, I will pass to Ayu.
So the next one is the configuration management procedure. So the configuration management procedure establish a process to manage and control change to the configuration of the SCADA system. So these procedures ensure that only authorized and tested change are made to the system configuration, minimizing the risk of misconfiguration or unauthorized modification. So it typically includes a formal change management process where changes are documented, review, approved, and also tracked. The procedure may involve implementing a version control system to maintain a historical record of configuration change. By enforcing proper configuration management procedures, organization can reduce the likelihood of disruptions, maintain system integrity, and also facilitate troubleshooting and responses. Uh, Incident response processes. Next, I will pass to Daniel.
Uh, Thirdly, the user access management procedure establish a process for managing user access to the SCADA systems. It includes procedures for user provisioning, which involve creating user accounts, assigning appropriate access privilege based on job roles, and providing necessary training and awareness on security practice. The procedure also involves implementing role-based access control (RBAC) to ensure that users have the least privilege necessary to perform their tasks. Regular access reviews are conducted to verify that access privileges are still appropriate and aligned with job responsibilities. The procedure also includes the revocation of access for users who no longer require system access. By implementing effective user access management procedures, organization can prevent unauthorized access, minimize insider threats, and maintain the integrity and confidentiality of SCADA system. Next, I will pass to Naufal for control.
So, control. First, security information and event management, CM. So, SIEM solutions analyze security records from SCADA infrastructure system. So, these solutions detect security incidents across systems by real-time monitoring and correlating security events and records. So, SIEM systems use advanced analytics and rule-based correlations to find security breaches in network device, server, database, and other logs. So SIEM is centralized log management for forensic analysis, compliance reporting, and incident response investigation. So SIEM can improve SCADA system security, visibility, and incident detection and response. Next, I will pass to Ayu.
So the next one is intrusion detection and prevention system, or called IDPS. So IDPS solutions are deployed to monitor network traffic and detect and block suspicious activity or potential intrusion in the real time. So this system use a combination of signature-based and also behavior-based detection mechanism to identify known attack patterns and also anomalies. So the IDPS can analyze network packets, logs, and system events to detect unauthorized access attempts, malware infection, or other suspicious activities. So once an intrusion is detected, the IDPS can take immediate action to block and also mitigate the threat, such as blocking network traffic from the attacker's IP address or terminating a suspicious process. So by deploying IDPS solutions, organizations can enhance their ability to detect and also respond to the potential security breach in the SCADA systems. Next, I will pass to Renia.
Next is physical access controls. Physical access control are implemented to prevent unauthorized access to the SCADA system infrastructure. This includes securing server rooms, data centers, or other critical location where SCADA system are housed. Uh, Physical access control may involve measures such as access card, biometric controls like fingerprint scanners, security guard, surveillance cameras, and intrusion detection system. This control help ensure that only unauthorized personnel can physically access the SCADA infrastructure, reducing the risk of physical tampering, thief, or unauthorized system modification. By implementing robust physical access controls, organization can enhance the overall security and protect the availability and integrity of their SCADA system. Next, I will pass to Novel.
So the people. So first, training and awareness. Provide regular security training and awareness programs to educate employees about their responsibilities, security best practices, and the potential risks associated with the data storage system. So this helps create a security conscious culture within the organization. So next, I will pass to Ayu.
The next one is roles and also responsibilities. So roles and responsibilities. Designating specific individuals or teams responsible for overseeing SCADA security is crucial. So these individuals or teams are responsible for monitoring the SCADA systems, applying security patch and also updates, managing access control, and responding to the security incidents. So clearly defining their roles and responsibilities helps ensure accountability for maintaining a SCADA system security. So this may involve establishing a security operation center or SOC or a dedicated team focused on SCADA security. So by assigning roles and also responsibilities, organization can ensure that there are dedicated resources responsible for protecting the SCADA system, a SCADA infrastructure, and also responding promptly to security events. Next, I will pass to Daniel.
Okay, next is background checks and authentication. Conducting through background checks on employees with access to SCADA system is important to ensure their trustworthiness. Background checks may include verifying employment history, checking reference, conducting criminal record checks, and screening for any past security incidents. These checks help mitigate the risk of insider threats or malicious actions by employees. Additionally, enforcing strong authentication mechanisms such as biometric authentications or smart cards enhance access controls and ensures that only authorized personnel can access the SCADA systems. Multi-factor authentication methods provide an additional layer of security beyond username and password credentials. By conducting background checks and implementing strong authentication mechanism, organization can reduce the risk of unauthorized access to the SCADA system and protect sensitive information. Next, I will pass to Ayu for data countermeasures.
So now we proceed to the next countermeasures for the data storage system. So policies provide the overarching guidelines and rules that govern the security of data storage systems. So here are some specific policies for a data storage system. So the first policy is an access control policy. So an access control policy is a set of rules and procedures that govern the access to a data storage system. So it ensures that only authorized individuals have appropriate access to the system, so thereby protecting sensitive information and preventing unauthorized use or disclosure. So this policy typically covers aspects such as authentication mechanism and segregation of duties. So what is authentication mechanism? So authentication mechanism, the policy should define the authentication mechanism used to verify the identity of individual accessing the data storage system. So this can include methods like password, multi-factor authentication, such as combination of password and biometric verification, smart cards or tokens. So this policy should specify the requirements of for strong passwords, password expiration periods, and also other relevant authentication practices. So the next one is data retention and disposal policy. So a data retention and disposal policy outlines the procedures for retaining and disposing of data stored in the system. So it defines the retention periods for different types of data and also specifies secure disposal methods to prevent unauthorized access to sensitive information. So retention periods should specify uh, data based on the legal, regulatory, and also business requirements. Some data may need to be retained for a specific duration to comply with laws and also regulations, while other data may have shorter retention periods based on the business needs. So the policy should be clearly define this period to ensure proper data management. So what is secure disposal method? So when the data reach the end of its retention period, it or is no longer needed, the policy should outline secure disposal method to prevent unauthorized access or data leak. This may include techniques such as data anonymization, encryption, physical destruction, or secure erasure of electronic data. So this policy should specify the procedures for implementing this disposal method and ensure compliance with the relevant data protection laws and regulations. So the next slide. The next one is procedures. So procedures provide the first one is change management procedure. So the change management procedure is a set of guidelines and steps put in a place to manage change to the data storage system effectively. So it ensures that any modification, updates, or updates made to the system are carefully reviewed, approved, and documented to minimize disruption of to the system's security and also availability. So the procedure typically includes the following elements. Review. The first one is review and assessment. The second one is approval process. Next, testing and validation, communication, implementation, and the last one is documentation. So the change management procedures aims to establish a systematic and controlled approach to change, reducing the risk of errors, system downtime, and security measures, while maintaining the overall stability and also availability of the data storage system. So the next procedure is the incident response procedures outlines the steps and process to be followed in the event of a security incident that may impact to the data storage systems. So this procedure is designed to ensure a timely and also effective response to such incidents, minimizing the potential damage and also facilitating recovery. So the procedure typically includes the following phases. Um detection, analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and also the post-incident analysis. So the incident response procedure ensures a structured and coordinated approach to handling security incidents, minimizing the potential damage, reducing downtime, and also improving the overall resilience and security of data storage system. It enables organization to effectively respond to the incidents, the protect sensitive data, and also maintain the trust of stakeholders. Next, we move to the controls. So the first one is access controls. So access control are crucial security measures for a data storage system. Role-based access control or called RBAC and also attribute-based access control or called ABAC are two commonly used across control models. So RBAC, also or called role-based access control. RBAC assigns access right and permission to users based on their roles within the organization. So each role is associated with a set of permission, and users are granted access based on their assigned roles. So this RBAC ensures that users have and appropriate access privilege aligned with their job responsibilities and also reducing the risk of unauthorized access. So the next one is ABAC takes a more granular approach by considering attributes of users, resources, and also the environment. So it uses policies that define access rules based on attributes such as user roles, job titles, location, time of access, or other contextual factors. ABSC provides a flexible and dynamic access control mechanism, allowing for fine-grained access control based on specific conditions. So this access control mechanism help prevent unauthorized access to the data storage system by ensuring that only authorized individuals have appropriate access privilege. So the next one, intrusion detection and prevention system, or called IDPS. So IDPS monitors network traffic and look for patterns or signatures associated with known attacks method. So if it detects any suspicious activity, such as an attempt to exploit a vulnerability or unauthorized access attempt, it will raises an alert. So IPDS and uh, take ac- can also take active measures to prevent attacks. It may block network traffic from suspicious sources, terminate the connection attempting unauthorized access, or apply security countermeasure to protect the data storage system. So by deploying this solution, organization can strengthen the security of their data storage system, detect and also prevent the unauthorized attempt or suspicious activities, and also respond promptly to potential security incidents. So the last one, now we move to the people. So the first one is training and awareness. Training and awareness program are essential components of an effective security strategy within an organization. When it comes to data storage system, ensuring that employees are well informed and educated about their responsibilities, security best practices, and also potential risks is crucial for maintaining a secure environment. So regular security training and awareness program are designed to provide employees with the knowledge and also skills they need to understand and implement security measures effectively. So this program typically cover a range of topics related to data security, such as password management, data encryption, phishing awareness, social engineering attacks, and the importance of keeping software and systems up to date. So the next one is incident response teams. So establishing an incident response team or IRT is a crucial component of a comprehensive security strategy for data storage systems. So an IRT is responsible for responding to security incidents promptly, effectively, and efficiently. So this team is composed of trained individuals who have the necessary skills and expertise to handle incidents, conduct investigation, and also coordinate response efforts. So the primary role of an incident response team is to minimize the impact of security incident on the organization, data storage system, and its overall operations. So this includes the identifying and containing the incident, is investigating the root cause, mitigating the damage, and restoring normal operation as quickly as possible. So the team works collaboratively with various stakeholders such as IT staff, legal counsel, and management to ensure a coordinated and effective response. So the last one is user access management. So user access management is a critical aspect of maintaining the security and integrity of data storage within an organization. So it involves implementing processes and controls to ensure that users are granted appropriate access privilege, their access is regularly reviewed, and also access is promptly revoked when no longer needed. Next, I will pass to Naufal for the countermeasure for the key server.
So the policies of the key servers. So the first one is asset protection policy. First, we create a policy that emphasizes protecting financial, procurement, and maintenance production servers. This policy should emphasize availability, integrity, and secrecy. Second is access control policy. Create an access control policy that limits key system access to prevent unauthorized access and modification of important system. So this policy should cover user authentication, password management, and user permissions. And the last one is security incident response policy. Establish a policy for handling security incidents or breaches affecting essential systems. So this policy should outline roles and duties, incident reporting and escalation, and compromise mitigation. So the procedures of the policy. Uh, The first one is asset management procedures. So the procedure of this policy is first the financial, procurement, and maintenance production servers should be identified and catalogued as part of a regular asset inventory. Second is keep an accurate tally of the servers, their locations, owners, and accountable parties. Third is set up a system to track and approve changes before they are made to the servers. And last one is maintain up-to-date records of asset management by reviewing them frequently. Second procedures is access control procedures. So the procedure of this policy is first establish user permissions in accordance with job functions and data access needs. Second, use robust methods of authentication such password, multi-factor authentication, or biometrics. Third is review access permissions on a regular basis and remove them from former or departing employees. And the last one is keep an eye on user logs and activities to identify any attempts at illegal entry or unusual behavior. And the last procedure is incident response procedures. So the procedure of this policy is first create a group to handle security issues by investigating, responding to, and preventing them. Second is establish transparent escalation policies and define how incidents will be reported. And third is test the efficacy of the incident response procedures using regular drills and simulations. And the last one is conduct investigation after incidents to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it so it does not happen again. So next is the controls. The first one is network security. So implement firewalls, intrusion detection, and intrusion prevention system to secure servers. So to prevent unauthorized access and detect suspicious activities, this security mechanism monitor and restrict network traffic. The second is data backup and recovery. Backup the server's data regularly to avoid losing crucial data in the case of a system breakdown or compromise. So to preserve data integrity, use rigorous backup mechanism and test restoration periodically. And the last one is disaster recovery planning. Create a detailed disaster recovery plan for system failures and security breaches. So this should contain backup recovery and contingency plans to minimize business disruption. So the people, first access management. Use adequate access control to restrict vital system access to approved individuals. This includes updating user accounts and permissions, eliminating access for inactive users, and accessing access rights. Next, incident reporting and response. Establish explicit procedures for reporting security events or suspicious actions related to key systems. Encourage staff to swiftly report security breaches, vulnerabilities, and events. So develop an incident response plan that includes communication and escalation protocols. And lastly, regular performance reviews and accountability. Performance evaluation should incorporate key system security policy compliance, hold people accountable, and give security-related comments. So next asset I will pass to Daniel.
Okay, for the next countermeasure, which is business communication platform. The first one is confidentiality for policies. The first policy is confidentially policy. Confidentially policy is designed to protect sensitive or confidential information within an organization. It proposed is to outline guidelines and procedures that employees must follow to ensure the confidentiality and privacy of sensitive data. Second one is authorized use policy. An authorized use policy outlines guidelines and rules regarding the proper and authorized use of resources, system, and facilities within an organization. It sets expectation for employee, contractors, and other authorized users regarding the appropriate and permitted use of company assets. Next one is mobile device security policy. A mobile device security policy is a set of guidelines and procedures designed to ensure the secure and responsible use of mobile device within an organization. It establishes standards for the protection of sensitive data, application, and resources accessed through mobile device. Okay, next slides. Okay, for procedures, I have limit the the procedure to four for for each policy. Okay, the first policy is confidentiality policy procedures. First one is classification and handling of confidential information procedure. It defines distinct degrees of secrecy for the various categories of information according to their level of sensitivity. Second one is physical security procedure. It creates safeguard to protect the actual storage space and stop unauthorized users from getting in. Third one is employee responsibilities procedure. It is important to make sure that workers are aware of their duties regarding the management and protection system sensitive information. The last one is compliance audits. It carry out regular audits to determine the level of compliance and locate any weak spots in the system. Okay, for authorized use policy procedures, the first one is acceptable use of system and resources. Outline the behaviors and actions that are acceptable while accessing and using the system resource. Next one is protection of user credentials. The provision of guidance for the protection of user credentials and the encouragement of the secure password practices. Next one is data protection and privacy. Outline the duties that are associated with maintaining the confidentiality of sensitive data and complying with data protection legislation. The last one is user training awareness. Users should be educated on the needs of the policy on a regular basis via the use of regular training. Okay, for mobile device security policy procedures, first one is mobile device usage guidelines. It specifies the different kinds of device that are allowed, whether they belong to the organization or personal device that are utilized for works. Second one is user access authentication. Install robust user authentication techniques on mobile device, such as personal identification numbers, PINs, password, or biometric, to guarantee that only authorized users may access mobile devices. Next one is data protection. Encryption should be mandatory for any data saved on mobile device, but particularly for any information that may be considered sensitive or secret. Last one is incident response and reporting. Create a strategy for handling and minimizing the effects of any security problems by putting together an incident response plan. Okay, next slide, controls. Okay, for controls, the first one is data transmission and sharing. A secure file transfer. We can use secure file transfer protocols or encryption when transmitting or sharing confidential information internally or externally. Uh, and we also can establish agreements with third parties that specify the handling and protection of shared confidential information. Next one is non-disclosure agreements, NDA. Non-disclosure agreements require employees, contractors, and third-party vendors to sign NDS to protect confidential information they have access to. And then NDA training and enforcement provide training on the importance of NDAs and enforcement compliance with the terms of the agreements. Next is physical security. Uh, it implement physical security measures such as lock cabinets or access control rooms to protect physical documents or storage media containing confidential information. Uh, Next one is compliance audits and assessment. Conduct regular audits to assess compliance with the confidentiality policy and identify any gaps of or vulnerabilities. Next is third-party assessment. Engage external auditors or security experts to perform independent assessment of the organization confidentiality controls. Okay, next is people. Okay, for confidentiality policy, uh, for training programs, it hold frequent training session on the most effective methods for maintaining confidentiality, the proper management of data, and the significance of guarding sensitive information. Give some instance and go through some real life situation to show the possible dangers and repercussion of breaches of confidentiality. Okay, next is visual aids. Make use of visually appealing tools such as infographic and movies in order to provide clear and concise explanation of important aspects of the authorized use policy AUP to the workers. The knowledge may be understood better and it may be written better if you do this. Okay, the last one is ongoing reminders. Remind people of the policy on a regular basis using methods such as emails, newsletter, print posters, or announcement posts on the company intranet. In the context of the job that we do every day, it is important to highlight crucial issues and stress the necessity of mobile device security. Okay, that's it for business communication platform.
So that's all from my team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.